What's up guys, Cowboys here back in a video where we talk about cars money investing. Today is PSA Reveal Day, right? So I got a PSA sub back that's been with PSA for more than 1 year before the pandemic time. Was it before pandemic? No, 2021. So about a year, 1 year plus ago, it's finally back. Mainly Marvel cards and some others which I'm going to share. But the main thing is about the amazing results on this particular sub, right? So before we get into it, I just want to ask you a question, right? Have you had one of those days whereby you just woke up on the wrong side of bed and just dreading to go to the office, dragging your feet along the way, and you kind of like just mess up everything that you do in the entire day? Well, I think that the PSA grader who kind of graded my cards for this batch here had that very day, right, where he completely obliterated the grades, right? So just gonna show you guys, check it out. Alright guys, here we go. So PSA sub, nice new PSA boxes. This is the first time I'm actually receiving my sub return in this new PSA boxes. Pretty neat and pretty cool. And I have, a bunch of mixed subs here, right? I already removed all the bubble wraps and stuff like that. So there is Marvel cards here and there is some non-Marvel cards here, right, which I'm going to show you guys. And one thing is consistent throughout this entire submission is the grades, right? And it's just bury me, it's not pretty, right? So we're gonna go with the Marvel stuff first because I think that's what most of you guys clicked in to look at, and we're just gonna run through them quickly and just gonna pull out a stack here, right? So here we go. These are 1990 MU, mainly 1990 MU here, and just gonna go through the grades. So first one here is a Dagger, PSA 9. Now PSA 9 is considered okay, but considering that it's not one of the top tier characters, so this will likely sell for about maybe $12 or so, 12, 15 at most. But considering that the grading fees on each of these cards here is about $15, including shipping, once you average out, it's this is not really a profit making return, right? So moving on, next we have the first bomb, right? The bomb in terms of Wolverine X-Men suit card number 23, PSA 6. What do you do with this card, right? So it's not even worth the raw in a sense, right? And bear in mind, right, all these cards did go through my usual screening process, so I really have no idea what exactly went wrong here and why is this a PSA 6. Now, will I actually just crack and resub? Most definitely not. But this is one of those things that just looks a bit weird. Yes, it does look a bit off-centered, but nothing that I actually could consider that would bring this down to a PSA 6, right? Moving on, I got another Wolverine here, the patch one, whereby it's card number 37. It's PSA 9. Decent result. This is probably going to yield a little bit of profit, but not a whole lot, right? PSA 9. So let's moving on. So let's kind of move some piles here, right? So PSA 9. Decent start, right? In terms, here's another patch here, Wolverine, PSA 9. It's a Beast, PSA 9. Again, the same as the Dagger, right? So these are not main top tier characters. So PSA 9 likely will break even or maybe marginal losses. Better than a PSA 6, better than a PSA 8, obviously. So far 4 PSA 9s, 1 PSA 6. Now let's carry on, right? So let's move on. Ooh, PSA 8, Speaker of the Devil, right? PSA 8, first one. So this is obviously loss making, right? You're not going to sell Punisher for PSA 8 for anything more than $10. So considering the grading fees of $15, don't even count the raw card, that's a loss right there. Just putting to the stack here. Moving on, Thanos, PSA 9, decent, right? Next, Spider-Man vs. Kraven, PSA 9, pretty alright. Okay, you guys been thinking so far so good. That's alright. Let's move on. PSA 8 for the Mutants. No, likely to the trash again. Next, PSA 9, Famous Battles, Armor Wars, not too bad. But again, not necessarily sure I'm making money. Now, you probably ask the question, right? Why am I sending all these cards to PSA? Why not, right? I think a lot of us during the time back in 2021 just cracked and sent whatever nice good looking, good centering Marvel 1990 MU in hopes of getting a PSA 10. PSA 10 and any of these cards, are 3 digits, minimum of $100. So you're definitely making money on the PSA 10s, but I guess nobody at that time could account for how difficult it was to actually obtain PSA 10s for all these. Right, let's go on. PSA 6 again, Spider-Man Hobgoblin, not the one you want. PSA 6 again, you can see a slight off-center here, but nothing really flawed on this card, so no clue, right, on this one here. Oof, tough one. PSA 6, that goes in the donation bin most of the time. PSA 9, Surfer vs Thanos, looks alright. Let's go another one. PSA 9, Wolverine Limited Series, issue 1, decent. PSA 8 of the same one, this is obviously loss making. PSA 9, this is the X-Men Blue Team. Cool. Is it a Blue Team? No, it's not a Blue Team. This is with Havoc, Gambit. It's the mix. PSA 9, Spider-Man, Doctor Doom, decent, alright, not too bad. See, my 9s are stacking up here, as you can tell, right? Not too bad. 9 North for Thor. And PSA 8 for here, right? So no PSA 10s in this stack here, right? But why do I think that this is not really a good return, right? Even though I got a decent amount of PSA 9s versus marketplace, so you can tell that I have 6 subs here. That's basically you burn $15, multiply by 6. That's like $90 here. That's just gone down. And with these, right? Even though they are PSA 9s, there are how many here? 10, 12 slabs here. I don't think that they're going to make any money out of this, right? On average, perhaps break even on each of these PSA 9s, losing $100, right? So $100 is not a big deal, but considering that this was one of the early ventures, operating on a smaller budget, not exactly the grades that I would hope to get. One PSA 10 would have been awesome in this. Okay, let's move on away from Marvel for a second and look at some of the stuff that I did submit in here. Some of these stuff which you might find interesting and you have never seen before. First up, Star Wars, right? This is 1999 from Decipher. This is the Reflections. I believe this is Reflections 2, right? Or is it Reflections 1? I'm not sure, right? So there's Darth Vader, Dark Lord, or the Sith. So this is just a rare foil card. I'm not sure you can tell. Right, it's not a high pop count, but PSA 8 is literally not desirable at all, right? So PSA 9, I believe it commands maybe close about $100, right? PSA 8, the raw I bought this was about for $30, and I think that combined the grading fees of 15, so cost base about $50. But I think this goes PSA 8 goes back for about like $25. Boom. Next up, Mara Jade. Right, so for those who are not familiar with Mara Jade, this was the assassin that was hired to try to kill Luke Skywalker in the books, and then you can see here nice. This is an ultra rare in Reflections 2, but again both PSA 8, PSA 9 sold for $200 about a year ago. I don't know what the prices are there, but definitely PSA 8 would definitely not anywhere near those prices. Not the best return on these Star Wars cards. Oops. Moving on, got Michael Jordan here. Insert 1993 Flare Ultra, famous nicknames, PSA 8. This is not anything better than a raw, right? PSA 9, I believe you can cover a raw price, and PSA 10 there's lots of premiums, but 8 just doesn't cut it. We have another one, another 8, right? Oh man. Moving on. 1993 Fleer Sharpshooters Michael Jordan, again PSA 8, not any better than a raw, maybe even worse than a raw, right? Same with the famous nicknames. On. This is interesting, right? So this is the Fanimation by 1992 Upper Deck. So this is artist impression by Jim Lee, right? So let's state it somewhere here. Yeah, there we go here. Artwork by Jim Lee, right? So these are Jim Lee artworks. So PSA 10 for this Michael Jordan goes for $1,000. So, obviously I try to make some attempt to try and get that. And these were the better conditions ones, even though I did notice that there's some corners, right? But, who's to know, right? But this PSA 8, obviously it's not going to cut it as well. Next up, PSA 7. So you think 8 is bad, 7's worse. Moving on, another Jordan, another 7. Probably going to give this away as well. Next up, decent 9. Okay, cover your money, maybe a bit more than that, but doesn't really justify the 2 7s and the 1 8 here. And last but not least, another Jim Lee one. This is the Larry Bird PSA 8. Not the best grade as all. So all in all, 0 10s in this submission, a bunch of 9s, but didn't really do much on the sports stuff, right? Just 1 9, lots of 8s, 2 7s. This is not what you want, right? So thanks PSA. I waited a year, paid the lesser fee, but could have done without the subs returns. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do like, subscribe, and follow my channel for more content in the future. Thanks for watching, guys. Cowboys out.